Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, proud to support the mission of KPBS and privileged to serve San Diego clients. Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, helping homeowners maintain drain, heating, and cooling systems since 1978. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marcos Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
Good evening. It's Thursday, May 13th. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Two major developments in the long battle to combat the coronavirus. The CDC now saying vaccinated people are to change their mask-wearing ways. More on that in a moment, but first, children 12 and up can now finally get vaccinated. Our coverage begins locally with KPBS reporter Alexandra Rangel.
I'm gonna feel safe. I'm gonna feel confident.
That and protected. As vaccine eligibility officially opened for everyone 12 years and older, families headed out to vaccine sites to get their children vaccinated. Anthony White with Family Health Centers of San Diego says the process is simple.
You have to come with a parent who has to provide consent, walk up, go through the process. It usually in and out about 30, 45 minutes.
Parents and guardians are also asked to bring a form of ID for their children that shows their age.
A lot of the parents have already been vaccinated, so they want to make sure that their kids get vaccinated, so the whole house is vaccinated and they can relax a little bit.
14-year-old Savannah Venegas says she's ready to play ball with her teammates.
We've been practicing since like last year, but everybody's wearing masks. But you can take it off if you're far away, like in the outfield. That's it.
A freshman on Hoover High's softball varsity team, Venegas says her teammates who are 16 already received the vaccine, which encouraged her to do so as well.
Well, I just thought like getting it because most of my team got it, so I also just want to be like fully vaccinated just to be safe.
Venegas was accompanied by her mom who helped her register and sign paperwork. As it got closer to getting a needle in her arm, she was feeling
a little nervous, but all right.
And all right, it went. The team at Family Health Services of San Diego encouraged and provided moral support for each person and child who made the brave decision to get the vaccine. According to White, so far the health center has received a good response from parents looking to get their children vaccinated.
What's going to happen is you're going to have those people, now that this is available to that age group, we're going to have a spike in people wanting to come in, and then we'll probably reach that group that's a little more hesitant.
Only the Pfizer vaccine has been approved for use for children 12 and up. According to the county, all static vaccine sites will have Pfizer vaccines on hand for walk-in appointments. Parents looking to make an appointment can log in to myturn.ca.gov to make an appointment for a site near you.
The county estimates nearly 176,000 San Diegans ages 12 to 15 are now eligible for the Pfizer vaccine. In Barrio Logan, Alexandra Rangel, KPBS News.
And a reminder, if you want to set up a vaccination appointment for yourself or an eligible family member, you can find a location close to you at kpbs.org. Just click on the vaccines link on our homepage. We have hit a groundbreaking moment in the battle against the coronavirus pandemic. The CDC is now changing its guidance, dropping mask mandates for people that are fully vaccinated. But as Isabel Rosales explains, there are a few exceptions.
If you are fully vaccinated, you can start doing the things that you had stopped doing because of the pandemic.
A day many have longed for since the beginning of the coronavirus pandemic. If you're fully vaccinated against COVID-19, the CDC says you can now return to life without masks.
Anyone who is fully vaccinated can participate in indoor and outdoor activities, large or small, without wearing a mask or physical distancing.
The CDC citing several factors for their decision.
Based on the continuing downward trajectory of cases, the scientific data on the performance of our vaccines, and our understanding of how the virus spreads, that moment has come for those who are fully vaccinated.
But there are some limitations.
We still have the requirement to wear masks when you travel on buses, trains, and other forms of public transportation. And we are, as well as airports and stations.
Despite easing up on masks for the fully vaccinated, public health officials say when it comes to ditching the mask,
I mean, people have to make their own personal choice. What you heard from Dr. Lewinsky, well, is the recommendation based on science. And that's just a recommendation. And when people want to do that, they at least have the science behind them.
In Washington, Isabel Rosales, KPBS News.
The CDC's guidance serves as a recommendation, but state and local authorities can impose stricter requirements. Infectious disease specialist Dr. Christian Ramers says it is reasonable to consider taking masks off outdoors, but cautions that COVID-19 still poses a threat to people who are not vaccinated or immunocompromised.
You know, we're still seeing close to 100 to up to 200 people a day. And the disease, if anything, has gotten worse. It's become more infectious in these new variants and everything. What has changed is the environment, and that the healthcare system is unlikely to be overwhelmed. And so it's becoming less sort of government mandates and more individual responsibility.
Governor Newsom has said most mask rules would be retired along with California's tier system. That's on June 15th. Dr. Ramers says he expects some reluctance from San Diego County leaders about loosening guidelines so that they don't have to walk them back again. Today, the state superintendent of public instruction visited 2 elementary schools in Chula Vista. Tony Thurman stopped by Castle Park Elementary, where students returned to in-person learning in April, despite being in one of the hardest hit areas of the county. The school has implemented rigorous safety protocols for both physical and mental health. Thurman took part in a mindful exercise that students do every day.
It's so exciting because it highlights all the amazing things that we're doing. It highlights how our kids have just been resilient during this time. They're excited to be back in the classroom, and it's going to be showcasing what they're also doing in social emotional learning.
Thurman says he is working with the governor and legislators to allocate an additional $3 billion on state mental health programs for anyone under the age of 25. He believes caring for the overall health of California students will make for a smoother transition into the fall. Scripps health officials are still trying to restore online systems after a cyber attack took them offline nearly 2 weeks ago. KPBS health reporter Matt Hoffman says the healthcare provider is working with a cybersecurity firm.
State health officials have described the attack as ransomware. That's where hackers could be holding information in exchange for a payment. Scripps officials have not gone that far, saying the cyber attack placed malware on its information systems. Hospitals and urgent care centers are still open and doing some procedures, but some appointments and operations are being postponed. Some critical care patients, including those being treated for cancer, were transferred to UC San Diego Health earlier in the week. Scripps says it's partnering with private labs to outsource services as it works to restore systems. Those requesting access to their medical records are being told to mail inquiries to Scripps directly. And per a social media posting, during the outage, outstanding bills will not be considered late. And there will be at least 14 days after systems go live again for payments to be considered on time. In a memo this week, Scripps CEO Chris Van Gorder thanked employees for the extraordinary way they are caring for patients, saying, quote, using our manual systems for a couple of hours is one thing. It's another altogether to do it for days. Scripps also says there have been reports of some pharmacies not filling written prescriptions, and there's no indication of when systems could be fully restored. Matt Hoffman, KPBS News.
In 2015, San Diego adopted Vision Zero, a campaign to end all traffic deaths and serious injuries by 2025. But 5 years in, the city has made little, if any, progress toward that goal. KPBS Metro reporter Andrew Bowen takes a closer look at why that is.
This footage from our partners at 10 News shows the aftermath of a fatal collision in November 2019. 66-year-old Mai Lee was walking from her doctor's office to a pharmacy on El Cajon Boulevard in the Little Saigon district. As she was crossing the street, not in a crosswalk, the driver of an SUV struck and killed her.
Mai Lee's death was a tragedy, and as reminded it reminded the city, it reminded all of us that this El Cajon Boulevard is very dangerous.
Tram Lamb is president of the Little Saigon Foundation, a nonprofit that works to promote and beautify the neighborhood. She and other civic and business leaders have long been calling for more crosswalks and slower speeds on El Cajon Boulevard, which is one of the city's deadliest corridors. She sees jaywalking all the time, and she understands why.
The distance between two crosswalks is very far, so that's the reason why it's make it harder for people to, a pedestrian, to cross the street. So they'd rather jaywalk the street, and that create a very dangerous environment for the driver and also for the pedestrian themselves.
Mai Lee's death is even more tragic because she died in an area where the city has already planned for safety improvements. A 2017 study recommended narrowing the lanes to slow down traffic, which often exceeds 40 miles per hour. It also recommended more crosswalks and a raised median, but none of the study's recommendations have been implemented, not even after Mai Lee's death.
These are the dangerous situation that people have to live through every single day, and then our elected official is not doing anything about it. They're actually going out there and talk to people, and people reflect and voice their concern, but their concern is not being heard.
This is despite the city launching a program in 2015 called Vision Zero. It's an ambitious goal of eliminating traffic deaths and serious injuries within 10 years. But we're halfway through, and the numbers haven't gone down. In 2015, there were 58 traffic deaths within city limits. In 2020, deaths went up to 61.
We do see, year-to-year fluctuation. Of course, we want to see all serious injuries and fatalities trending towards zero.
Everett Hauser is a city traffic engineer. He says his department has done what it can within the budget that the mayor and city council have provided. That's included new crosswalks, bike lanes, and other safety measures. Still, he admits it took a while for the Vision Zero program to ramp up.
But every year we conduct additional analysis, evaluating high crash locations, and then as well as some of the latest we've done with our systemic safety analysis is looking at ways to improve safety system-wide across the city.
We're not meeting the mark. We need to do better. I've brought, hopefully, a new attitude, new energy to this issue.
Mayor Todd Gloria blames the halting progress on his predecessor, Kevin Faulkner, and what he calls a lack of urgency on making streets safer.
The question is, how much time do we have to actually effectuate those changes? My hope is to have as much time as possible, because some of this stuff is difficult because it requires a lot of process, and we're quickly running out of time.
Many cities are finding faster and cheaper ways to slow down traffic. Projects that would normally be done with concrete can also be done with paint and bollards. Beryl Foreman of the El Cajon Boulevard Business Improvement Association says city traffic engineers have been slow to adopt those more innovative measures.
If someone's standing in the way that, who's a director of a department who doesn't believe it's okay to make our streets safer, well, then they probably shouldn't be in that position, because we have goals set and we need to roll out and take action, especially when it comes to the safety of our communities.
Frequently, Vision Zero projects run into community opposition because of parking and traffic concerns. A protected bike lane might require removing parking. A wider sidewalk might require reducing the number of travel lanes. Tram Lamb of the Little Saigon Foundation says if taking space away from cars means fewer people in her community dying, she's okay with it.
We need to start redesign and rethink about our street and our city that to improve, to increase the quality of life for the people and make it as safe as it can be for everybody to use, that using them. Because a street and a sidewalk is not just only for cars, but it's also for people as well.
Andrew Bowen, KPBS News.
Taking a shower is a basic need, one that people experiencing homelessness have a hard time accessing. KPBS North County reporter Tanya Thorne shows us how an organization is stepping in to change that.
A fresh shower, a new haircut, and new clothes can make anyone feel human again. That was Jordan Verdin's mission when he founded Humanity Showers. a mobile shower trailer bringing basic hygiene to the homeless community throughout San Diego.
This was a place that they felt humanity was being instilled back into them, dignity was being instilled back into them.
Verdeen started providing showers in 2019 once a month with one mobile shower trailer in Oceanside. They now hold 6 shower events every week throughout San Diego County and offer an array of resources.
We offer clothing, we offer barbers, we offer breakfast, we have multiple resources that are connected to sober living, housing, we work with a Vista Community Clinic, we offer tons of resources now.
Verdeen calls these events mobile navigation centers that help people experiencing homelessness get connected with support. Humanity Closets is one of the newest additions to the shower events.
You know, they haven't had pants in a couple months, you know, and this is a brand new pair, and it's little things, and when it fits like just perfectly and like it matches their eye color, or they're trying to like get to an interview and they need some like interview clothes, like that's completely accessible to them here.
Organizer Bianca Lopez is fundraising to make the closet mobile to take to all of the shower locations. Irvin is one of the volunteers at the shower events. He didn't want to share his last name, but said he was one of the first people to use the showers when the program started.
You just feel like a whole different person. You want to live, you want to go out there and start conquering your demons. You just feel better about yourself.
All of the funding for the shower trailers has been privately donated. Verdeen says he has hesitated to apply for grants because it is proof that all the funding is from the people to the people. But he says community partnerships and collaborations ultimately will make the biggest difference.
It's only going to be when we all come together as a collective, as a community, then we can start to see some more innovative things happening.
Verdeen plans on adding a 4th shower trailer through a donor and a mobile laundry trailer expected to debut later this month. Tanya Thorne, KPBS News.
The impact of less rain and snowpack across the state is being felt. New information released today from the U.S. Drought Monitor says conditions are intensifying across California. Exceptional drought areas have expanded in the southern and eastern Sierra Nevada in response to poor snowpack conditions. Exceptional is the worst level, and much of the state is in the extreme or severe categories. Governor Newsom expanded a drought emergency declaration to 41 out of 58 counties and said further expansion is even likely.
If you've been enjoying the weather the past few days, Friday brings more of the same for us, but things are going to start to change Saturday because there's an upper trough headed in. Now, this is not going to mean a lot of moisture in the form of rain and showers, but there could be some drizzle, and there's certainly going to be a deeper marine layer with cooler temperatures for the coast as we head into the next couple of days. So really as we close out the weekend. First up, though, tonight, it's more of the same as we head through tonight and into tomorrow. A bit of a marine layer holding on. San Diego 61 for the low, Oceanside 59, and Mountain Laguna coming in at 58. As we venture into the overnight hours, again, you'll notice that marine layer coming in, but as we get into tomorrow morning, while it's there, it'll fade away through the afternoon. So this has been, again, the same pattern that we've had the past few days continues into tomorrow, where we have the warmth, the dry air still in place. The next storm system, though, you can see this cold front already making an entrance into Northern California, will have some impacts for us. As I mentioned, though, not a lot in the way of showers or wet weather associated with it, mostly just a change in our marine layer and some of our temperatures. Notice tomorrow, though, temperatures in the upper 60s. San Diego, 68 for your high. Mount Laguna, 66. And Borrego Springs still heading 100 degrees through the afternoon. Marine layer starts to fade away really after 11 a.m. and then we're looking bright as we head through the rest of the day. So it's, again, a pretty typical pattern for us with our May gray to start off the day. Low pressure system, though, as that works in Saturday, we're going to be talking about more of a marine layer sticking into the early afternoon hours, and a lot of those temperatures falling off a little bit. So for Friday, Saturday, upper 60s, but then by Sunday, we notice that change, lower to mid 60s for highs. Now, once you get inland, you'll see those mid 60s returning for Sunday too, with the low clouds eventually breaking, although it'll be a tough go there. And then we stay in the lower 70s next week. Mountain locations, sunshine, few clouds out there, 60s to begin, and then we start to head back to the 50s. And for the deserts, we're going to see those temperatures trend back to the lower 80s by the time we get into Sunday. For KPBS News, I'm meteorologist Melissa Constanzer.
As Muslims celebrate the Islamic holiday of Eid al-Fitr, which marks the end of the holy month of Ramadan, they once again had to balance social and religious rituals with COVID concerns. For many in the U.S., this year's Eid is promising to be closer to normal. However, masks were required at many prayer services and temperatures were taken at the door.
People have just been coming for the regular prayers and going away, but this is one occasion where more people are coming in at the same time. So the sense of community is being rebuilt today.
Worshippers were asked to bring their own prayer rugs and bags for their shoes. Social distancing was also carried out. The pandemic wreaked havoc on long-standing neighborhood restaurants, forcing some to close. But in City Heights, many persevered through hard work and support from their community. KPBS reporter Max Nadler is checking in with some of the neighborhood's beloved long-time establishments as part of a series we call City Heights Bites.
Walk around any hard-working neighborhood and you'll find a place that you can rely on for fast, cheap, and delicious comfort food. For the past 17 years, that role has been filled by Pat Vuong and his wife Kim Dang, who own Min Ki. As an immigrant from Saigon, Vuong started as a dishwasher at a Chinese restaurant in Horton Plaza, working his way up to executive chef, before he decided he wanted to open a restaurant that would meet people at the price point they were at in his own neighborhood of City Heights. So he bought Min Ki, continuing to work with Chinese food and focusing on dishes like handmade wonton noodles, served quickly to a hungry community on the go. His daughter Sandy saw where her father was coming from while growing up in the restaurant.
We didn't grow up with a lot of money, and when he was struggling, he was a single dad for a while, raising 2 little girls. He had 3 jobs, and trying to feed me and my sister, it was really difficult for him. So he found places like Min Ki where food was affordable. He wanted to bring really good quality homemade food, but still keep it at an affordable price.
Business ground to a halt last spring as the pandemic shut down restaurants. Overnight, the business that had kept longtime residents of City Heights fed had to shut down.
For Min Ki, it was very difficult in the beginning. Not only are my parents older, but their staff is a little bit older, as well as their clientele. So they made it a priority to try to keep everyone safe.
Like other restaurants, they shifted to full takeout, but missed the business from the quick shuffling sit-down experience, which fit the busy schedules of their customers. Lucky for them, wonton soup can easily be reheated, and their customers fell back on the old favorite during these troubled times. With a few loans from the federal government and other small grants, Min Ki is still on its feet as it emerges from the pandemic.
Everyone's been really excited to still see us here and walking through the doors. It's just been very fun to see everyone come back and enjoy a meal with us.
It doesn't stick out and it's not flashy, but restaurants like Min Ki are what keep the community fed. Sandy Tobin has opened her own restaurant in Kearny Mesa, Dumpling Inn, but her family's food and ethic remains rooted in City Heights.
That's what makes City Heights, is these businesses that are not only independently owned by small families and not backed by some big corporation, but that we've been here for so long. We, I think, are what the culture here is.
Max Nadler, KPBS News.
The new outdoor home for the San Diego Symphony now has a new name. Actually, more than one new name. Today, the Symphony announced the venue will be known as the Rady Shell at Jacobs Park. KPBS reporter John Carroll talked to some of the big donors who made the project possible.
For the first time today, we got to hear members of the San Diego Symphony playing from the stage of the Rady Shell at Jacobs Park. The sound, the space, the overall setting brought one word to mind for Symphony CEO Martha Gilmer.
Joy. In the midst of the dark times of the past year, every time we would come to this place, we would feel joy.
Joy that is only possible because of San Diego's leading philanthropists stepping up with huge donations. $15 million from Evelyn and Ernest Rady.
It's turned out to be more than I contemplated in my wildest dreams.
$11 million from Joan and Erwin Jacobs.
We did not imagine anything as
grand, as wonderful as it has turned out. It's just such a special place now. I'm sure we're going to all get wonderful enjoyment from hearing all types of music and events here.
Millions were also given by the Conrad Prebys Foundation and philanthropist Una Davis. As we reported last month, the Rady Shell is a technological wonder. State-of-the-art lighting and sound will envelop audiences. There will be various food offerings from some of San Diego's best chefs, and more than 60 new restrooms, replacing the former porta potties.
Come on, look around. This is fantastic.
And when it's not being used for performances, the venue will become a public park.
This venue will belong to all of San Diego.
But Martha Gilmer had more on her mind today than this venue. The Symphony took public a fundraising campaign that's been raising cash from big money donors for the last few years. They're nearly 80% of the way toward raising $125 million. Now they're asking for the public to chip in to help with things like their other venue, Symphony Hall.
It's a 90-year-old performance venue, and, you know, you have to replace things.
But for today, the star of the show was this remarkable place and all that it will offer to the people of San Diego. The first concert at the Rady Shell at Jacobs Park will happen sometime this August, an event that will kick off untold years of performances at this gift to San Diego, a one-of-a-kind the world over. Adam Barcadero, Marina Park South. John Carroll, KPBS News.
You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Have a great evening.
Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, proud to support the mission of KPBS and privileged to serve San Diego clients. Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, helping homeowners maintain drain, heating, and cooling systems since 1978. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley. And by the following: and by viewers like you. Thank you.